Here we go. All right. So taking that deep breath of love and gratitude with my hands on my heart. So grateful and thankful for this time to come together, to be the two or more who are gathered in the name and the nature of love. Grateful for our willingness to remember our true identity of unconditional love, pure innocence, perfect wholeness. Grateful for our mighty companions, our earthly and heavenly helpers. We ask that they join us now, surrounding and supporting us. Blessing all who are here, all who may listen later. We're grateful for open hearts and open minds that are that have the willingness to be great receivers of the all good. We are claiming the kingdom for ourselves right here and right now, as we are inspired to share the benefits of all that we receive and all that we are with Mother Earth and all her beings, because we are one. In grace, gratitude, let it be. And so it is. Amen. So we are in chapter 10, still the religion of ego, and section 4, no other laws but God's. This is my view is funky. Here we go. That's better. This is a short chapter, but and this was a short section. I had to read it a couple of times before I got anything. But I think I'm going to start us off with paragraph 4, where he says laws of chaos are meaningless by definition. Creation is perfectly lawful, and the chaotic is without meaning because it is without God. You have given your peace to the gods you have made, but they are not there to take it from you, and you are not able to give it to them. You are not free to give up freedom, but only to deny it. You cannot do what God did not intend, because what he did not intend does not happen. Your gods do not bring chaos. You are endowing them with chaos and accepting it of them. And I just thought that this was perfect because I had another weekend all to myself, and I tend to have more moments of deep sadness when when I don't have anything on my schedule. And so at first I was judging it, like, why can't I not get over the grief, because that just is ridiculous to me right now. But why can't I just consistently remember that I haven't lost anything, that Rudy's still here with me. He's just not in the physical realm anymore. And yet that still feels like a loss. And so that's when I feel like my mind goes into, I'm riding two horses, because there's the part of me that feels this great deep loss. And then there's the other part of me that is still like, but he is not a body, you are not a body. And so what I realized was, I feel like it's good for me to have those days when I allow myself to go deep into that sadness. Otherwise, I would not have them. And so I wrote, after reading that paragraph 4, So perhaps even when I am choosing chaos, it must somehow be for my good. Um, yeah, I can't always see it, but I do feel like it is there, that it has to be still for my good. And what I know is it's good for me to have those times when I can do that, but also to make sure that I have um, stuff in place so that I cannot like fall into that cavern that I can't get out of. So I allow myself to go into that sad space, but I knew that the next day I had a prayer call, and that I would be walking with my friend Chrissy, and that those were both things that would help support me, and that if I felt drawn to, that I could talk about the deep sadness that I went into for a little while. um and that, I don't know, it feels almost like a physical release or a somatic release when I do that. um and I know for myself, my what I'm looking forward to is when the highs aren't so high and the lows aren't so low. And in the meantime, they are, and it's because they're supposed to be right now. So I can accept that because what God did not intend does not happen. So if I am choosing sadness, if I am choosing the God of sadness to bring chaos, it is not because sadness brings chaos or grief brings chaos, is because I am endowing chaos onto sadness and grief. So yeah, it's I don't know. I'm still not completely clear on it, but it's clear enough for me right now. And I just feel like it's a good way for me to learn through contrast. So that's where I'm starting us off. What did anybody else get from the reading today? Anybody want to share?
Well, I'll go ahead first if nobody wants to.
Thanks, Daniel. Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. I'm not in the car, not on appointments today.
Yeah.
I'm actually in studio. So this first, the number one is so he talks about selective perception. And there is a for the scholars on this call, there is a book from a psychologist called her name is Annie Duke. Her brother is Howard. I don't know if you know who Annie Duke is, but her brother is Howard Lederer, who is a professional poker player.
Oh,
And yeah, so Annie, again, was teaching. I think she taught at Harvard and would listen to her brother talk about these bad beats, playing, online and playing against the best in the world. And she wrote a book called Thinking in Bets. And she speaks about this exact thing. She calls it confirmation bias, which basically means um, it's like one of the most powerful and like cognitive errors that we have as humans, where what we do is our biases lead us to seek out opinions and information that just confirm what we believe, not the other side. And she talks about like preservation. So like we're going to cling to our beliefs as they are basically part of our identity, and having confirmation bias, or in this case, selective perception, um, it makes it very difficult for us to change our minds, because all the information that we're seeking it to confirm the beliefs that we have. We don't seek to look to the other side. So she speaks about the outside view, which is the way to mitigate this bias is to seek an outside view, or like diverse perspectives. And it means surrounding yourself with people that you disagree with. And that is a very challenging thing for us to do as humans. So when I read this, it's almost like the yin and the yang of it. Uh, here, to know reality must involve the willingness to judge unreality. Now, I wrote on here, the reality is what we believe. The unreality is maybe the other side of the coin, which is what we don't believe. So we all have these beliefs, and I always, I'll say, well, what is a belief? To me, a belief is an idea that we've developed loyalty to over time. Think about how we start to believe in something. We just think of this idea, and then we start to believe it and perpetuate it over time. How? Through selective perception. If we believe something, we're going to keep finding things that are going to support what we believe, even if there's information to show us the contrary. And she, as a psychologist, talks about this. It's a fascinating. This first chapter is directly, if you really want to be interested in it, the book is called Thinking in Bets, and it is a fascinating book from a Harvard professor who talks about this basic law right here. So, and then when he says here, knowledge cannot dawn on a mind full of illusions, because truth and illusions are irreconcilable. Truth is whole and cannot be known by part of a mind. So I just wrote biases attachments, because it's, and we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it too. Like we all are. We're all going to believe a certain way. And then we're just going to always find information to perpetuate our belief, instead of, hey, there's this perspective over here. Let me think about that, instead of just continuously doing this selective perception. So I understood this first part very clearly. The second chapter, I kind of was a little. I'm like you on that one, on maybe on four. I don't fully understand it. So maybe if others read that, the second part, and have their own perspective on it, they'd share it. But yeah, it's just this first part was very enlightening for me, because I read the book, and it is yeah, it's a fascinating book. So I understood it. We always want to have thoughts and ideas that enhance the beliefs that we have, when in order for us to expand our mind and expand our perception and our understanding of just life itself, taking a perspective from somebody else who thinks the complete opposite of us might be helpful. So, yeah.
Yeah, we expand our minds much more that way. That's for sure. Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Go ahead, Dana.
I also was really drawn to the first paragraph. It was very powerful, but I read it in a different way than my brother. So, and I guess I have studied psychology. I There's a lot of parallels between what the course in psychology, and there's a lot of principles because they're principles of truth. But what this like so I was like, when I was like 18, 19, got introduced to REBT theory, and I was obsessed with it, from Robert Ellis. rational emotive behavior therapy. Robert Ellis developed that in the 60s. He has a whole center. He had a whole center in New York. It is the principle of that is the course. RABT believes in ABC. So there's an activating event, there's a belief, your belief about it, and then there's the consequence. That is the course 100%. The Bible teaches that too. So if we all see the same event, we're all going to have a different belief about it, but our belief is what determines. So it's A plus B equals C in his theory. And so his whole theory is like change your belief and then change your experience, which is the course, right? It is. And so there are a ton of psychological principles that like psychology has figured out, right, about the way the mind works, things work. And it's clear. The difference, the big difference, is the power of the spirit. They are like this whole chapter is called No Other Laws But God's. So when I read, so I'll just read the first paragraph because I thought it was incredibly powerful. And the way I interpreted reality, the way I understand the course means reality. Reality in the course is God's reality, is the capital T truth of God. Unreality is the illusion, the dream in which we are living in the physical realm. I may have that wrong, but that is how I interpret those terms within the context of the course. So reality can dawn only in an unclouded mind, meaning reality in that sense for me was God's truth. The truth of what, for me to see, like how the Course says, if you're experiencing pain, you have a wrong perspective. So then my prayer is always, okay, God, I don't want to feel this way. So help me see this differently. So that's the reality. I'm trying, help me see the capital R reality, the capital T truth that I'm not seeing. That is your truth, right? That is a soul level truth. It is always there to be accepted, but its acceptance depends on your willingness to have it. And the Course talks about that all over the place. Jennifer talks about that all the time. Like these things are here. They never went anywhere. God didn't take anything away from us. We have everything we were created to have always. It's only our own willingness or our blocks to love to see it or experience it or remember it. To know reality must involve the willingness to judge unreality for what it is. Meaning unreality is the false beliefs, the illusion of this world, that all the false beliefs, the false gods we erect that they talk about in the rest of the chapter, that's the unreality. It's not real, because also real for me in terms of the Course is only that which is eternal, and only that which is eternal is of God, which is love, right, and wholeness and all of that. So that's how you see it rightly, is to perceive the unreality as the illusion that it is. This is the right use of selective perception. And everything my brother said is true. Like all of that is in psychology. Biased thinking, we all do it. It's the way the brain does shortcuts for us to be able to just navigate the world. Everybody has it. That's how your brain is wired. But to be able to step back and understand for our own beliefs, right? That maybe that's not true. And the diversity piece is huge. Yeah, being around people who think differently than you help you get outside. It's like when you're a child. I always analogize, like when you're a child, you only know your home. You only know how your family eats and how your family does things. And you start getting a little older and you go to other people's houses and you realize, oh, okay, maybe everybody doesn't have two parents. Maybe everybody doesn't have a mom and a dad. Maybe some people have two dads or two moms or one or the other. Or I grew up with one of my closest friends was raised by her grandparents. She had neither a mother or a father in her home. So you just start to see everybody does things differently. So your world expands, your perspective expands. That's what I work with college students. That's when some students, they've lived in the same town with the same people their whole lives. They come to college, they experience, that was me. You experience people from all over the country who do things differently if you go to a different, so it's that expansion that is helpful. But I think here, what is most important is for us to distinguish the truth with a capital T of God's reality versus the untruth, which is the illusion. To overlook nothingness is merely to judge it correctly, right? It's nothing. It is nothing. Anything that is not real is nothing. It doesn't exist, as the Course says. To overlook nothing is merely to judge it correctly because of your ability to evaluate it truly and let it go. I mean, it's like italicized, and that's the hard thing, letting it go, right? That release. of like, this doesn't matter, this isn't real. I don't need to become attached to it. This idea, this belief, this feeling, it's all fleeting. Knowledge cannot dawn on a mind full of illusions because truth and illusions are irreconcilable. Truth is whole and cannot be known by part of a mind. And so I think that's where it's talking about, like, if our mind is split, if we have other gods, if we have false beliefs, all those false beliefs and those false gods sort of take up residence in space in our mind, and that space that can't be given wholly to God's truth, and to God's law. And there was somewhere else, I think maybe even what, I think it was maybe in what you read, Linda. So, I mean, well, at the end of 3, but God himself has protected everything he created by his laws. Therefore, everything which is not under them does not exist, right? Uh, anyway, this whole, I mean, I like 5 speaks about it too, like the unreality of these things that don't exist, that are not part of God's laws. And so for me, I'll just leave it at this. Like, it's a faith thing for me, even in my own life, as I'm going through things that feel like not great or maybe not the best. I have to trust that in the bigger picture, a bigger picture that I cannot know, because the Course also says we can, not that we shouldn't judge, we literally cannot judge. So I can't see all God sees. I can't see all through all space and time. So this is the faith. I have to trust that whatever I'm experiencing is what I'm supposed to experience, and is ultimately for my highest and best, for my good. And God is in it with me. And so the only thing I know to do is to keep praying, to ask God to help me see it rightly. Help me see it as you see it, God. Help me understand it as you understand it, because I can't see. It doesn't feel great, or I don't understand. I'm praying about something particular right now. I'm like, I don't understand how all these things, what was the purpose of all of this? If this is where I'm at, like, I'm trying to understand the timeline, the sort of like sequence of my life of events. And so that's what I've been praying about, asking God for, help me see it as you see it. Help me understand it. I'm clearly not seeing it the way you see it. So help me see that, that truth, that reality. So anyway, I thought the whole chapter was really, really great. So those are my thoughts, but thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thanks, Dana. Yeah, that feels really helpful. Carla, go ahead.
I don't know how long man has been around, but we started believing what we see, we forgot about God. We forgot about love. We forgot about peace. I mean, all that stuff. This is what I know, is that the ego, the mind, that thinks it's separate, has been altered by us, because we have free will and we believe fear. We believe stuff. A lot of people believe the stuff that isn't true. So everybody does things that's can be called illusion, or what we call it. That, and God takes all those choices, because we all have free will choices to choose whatever we do. And many people aren't making that prayer. They don't want it. They don't do it. They think they know. And I mean, I started this thing called the unknown quote of the day, and I started taking stuff, just that I'd see Instagram, or I'd see things, and I started trusting that I'm to use this or just let it go. It's helpful, and this is what one of them. And I'm saying this is the best of my ability. I don't have it with me. But you cannot learn when you believe you already know.
Mm.
That's exactly what this section is telling us, is that we think we already know. I mean, maybe we're a teenager, we think we have, what we believe now is different from then. We're always constantly evolving, but we kind of, God takes everything, every choice that's ever chosen, however unloving or loving, and weaves it together to offer us the highest and best. Now, there's a lot of people. I don't know how many, was it up to 9 billion yet? I don't know, on the planet. So that's a lot of weaving. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me that how that's possible, but I believe it. That I don't know how many do trust it. I've realized that I used to believe what I see and what I hear, to look beyond. That's their choice. But my choice is to look beyond that and have faith that somehow, I mean, it's very hard whenever it seems like things are happening that's unloving, people getting shot, people getting deported, people, stuff is, people speak all the time about hate and are you stupid and really negative things in life. I've been listening. I don't think I ever hear the word love anymore. And so it's hard to believe, to have faith that somehow this is all be woven into love. Like, things don't seem so loving. People don't seem to be choosing the highest and best. People don't seem to be choosing love. They choose whatever they choose. But I think I've had to let go of believing anything else, believing what I see. It seems things seem really challenging right now, but I believe that at the very worst means the very best is close to coming. I have to trust that miracles miracles are all around me and miracles are on my way. And I trust and I have faith and love. And that's really the key when things don't seem like it, but to have faith and love beyond what you see, that's so challenging to me. We have to live every day. We have to produce money, whatever, put food on the table, sleep, do what, buy clothes, all those things we do. We do whatever we do. We have to do that stuff. And it's very challenging to live in this world, yet have faith in another world. This world is not the end all of everything. And I don't know, that's all I'm gonna share. I don't have a really specific section except with one line in paragraph 2, line 4. If you perceive other gods, your mind is split. And that's what happened. People believe in God is all there is. I mean, everything is kind of like a cell in the body of God, and those cells choose, and we're all and everything is a cell, and they choose. Kind of, we have free will, so we choose how we. But I don't know. It's mind-boggling. This stuff we could study this stuff forever, but it comes down to one thing: having faith in God and putting God first. I mean, we have to make money. We have to put food on the table. We have to, whatever we do, have a house or place to stay. But we don't have to worry about that, because if we have faith in God, only faith in God, that will come. don't worry. Don't try to know. Just feel, because that's where truth is and what we feel. If we feel upset, like Danny says, need to see things differently. But when you have peace, you are having faith. You're allowing everyone, allow life to unfold, allow love to unfold. How it's going to take everything is chosen and create something spectacular. And I know this. What if something even more spectacular than I could ever imagine is on its way to me? I'm not interested in stopping it and believing anything else is happening. And I'm willing to have faith. And that's where willingness comes in. It's the key to everything is to be willing. What are we willing to do? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Carla. Yeah, it feels like the whole thing is from the introduction. Nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. When we remember that, I mean, he's basically just repeating those 3 lines over and over again throughout the whole book. But yeah, we don't hear people talk about love a lot. If you're looking at the news or you don't hear people talk about love.
No. How many times have you heard people say, don't watch the news?
Exactly.
If you want to be happy, don't watch the news.
Yeah.
So if you're on the news, your regular news channels or social media, you will see a lot of things it's like clickbait. They want you upset, so then you react to it, whether it's a positive. I mean, they'll have 6 negative stories and then maybe one positive one in the middle somewhere.
Right.
So yeah, but in that book, the Jesus autobiography book, he talks about that in 2,000 years ago. Leaders were doing the same thing. This is just a different way now because we have these small boxes that, we can connect with people 5,000-6,000 miles away.
Yeah.
But he speaks about that a lot in that book.
Yeah. Yeah. I purposely look for content creators that are putting out good news.
Mm-hmm.
Here's something amazing that happened. You
Yeah.
know, because it used to feel like back in the day, I'm aging myself here, like watching Walter Cronkite and Roger Mudd and like the old days when the news was really just the news. It was unbiased. It wasn't, let's, do whatever we can just to get as many viewers as possible. It was just like, here's what happened.
Yes.
And you're right. Even watching the mainstream news, no matter what channel or what you believe, it seems that the entire program is based on little 15-second snippets of, oh my God, this happened. You got to stay tuned. Like that's the whole show basically. And here's a commercial.
Yeah.
But you got to stay tuned because this happened and it's terrible. And we're going to show it to you in just a minute. And,
this food is in your pantry and it's this food can kill you and it's in your pantry. News at 11. Like it's nuts. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. But I will say a good thing about social media is if you continue to do what you just said, which is I'm going to find good content creators, this thing listens to you. So the more you perpetuate positive content creators, it's
Yeah.
going to keep feeding you positive content creators
Yeah.
because it's going to keep it. You tell it what to give to you, and it's going to
Right.
give it to you.
Yeah. There's I'm see. Let's see if I can find him real quick. Here he is. There's a guy that I watch. His channel is called Global Mind Apparel, and he puts out like 5 or 6 little 30-second videos every day about this happened and this person stepped up and it was amazing. Like, all the teachers in the school realized that this one teacher was having a really difficult time and couldn't afford a car, and they all came together and they started a GoFundMe, and now he has a car to drive to school every day.
That's cool.
It's stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I just found him. Cool.
Yeah, he's excellent. I love watching him. Like I said, he puts
Yeah.
out like 5 or 6 little videos every single day. I watch every single one because I'm like,
Hmm.
bring on the good, bring on the
Yeah.
good.
It's inspiring. Like there's the dodo. I don't know if you ever watched the dodo. It's all about
Yes.
people saving animals. It's
Yes.
like it's just really inspiring, cool stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
it'll that's the good part about it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's unfortunately, yeah, that's not what sells, in this day and age. So,
Yeah.
because people are so the news medias play a lot on the polarity right now between people because
Yeah.
we're very divided.
Yeah.
Um,
And they
so
benefit from that.
100%. Yep, it's all
They,
money. It's
yeah,
all money.
they are actually encouraging it,
Hmm. Yeah.
no matter what side you're on, or even if you're in the middle.
Hmm. They want you to react one way or another. And,
Yeah.
it's funny in this chapter, I kept coming back to the same thing, and Carla was mentioning it, and I think you were too, even my sister. It's like it really is to me. It's a very simple thing, and it's simple to see, but hard to incorporate all the time into your life. Which is the external is the problems. The internal is where there's no problems.
Yeah.
The internal is the spirit. So anything that's bringing you strife and conflict and fear, it's external. It's outside of you.
Yeah.
Anything that is bringing you joy and love and happiness and peace and gratitude and integrity, it's usually on the inside.
Yeah.
But it's not. Again, we're in these physical bodies, and we have these 5 senses to kind of navigate the world to see people, hear people, touch people, or whatever it is. That's why we have them, is to experience life on this planet. And then that's where those issues come in, like why we get in our own way,
Yeah.
you know. So but again, easy to understand, but not easy on a daily basis to
To
navigate.
implement. Yeah.
I fall into it too.
Yeah. I have to say, I took a learning from Kathleen's life. I went, and unfortunately, we don't have a Costco. We have a Sam's Club. I would prefer a Costco because there were Costco's in California when I lived there, and they're awesome. Sam's Club, but I got a Sam's Club membership last week. And
Okay.
I spent like 2 hours in there wandering through the store. Like, holy crap, there's so much there. And to me, it was like the consumerism is insane and profane at the same time. But the people there were like so happy. Like, here we are, just pushing our little carts around, picking up, cases of bottled water or whatever they were getting. And it was so, I don't know, it was a contrast. And at the same time, it was just good to be around people
Hmm.
because I don't do that a lot anymore. Well, I really shouldn't say that because I am walking 2 to 3 days a week at our local mall. And right now, the mall is because everybody's doing their Christmas shopping, even at 10 in the morning. So yeah, I just thought, I love, Kathleen, that you go to Costco on a regular basis and you just sit there and walk around and interact with people, and that this is, this is going to be part of my ministry now, is to go to Sam's Club, maybe not until the holidays are over, because it's a zoo.
Mm-hmm. I was telling my sister, like, she finally got me into getting a Costco membership. I'm like, this freaking
We love
place.
Costco in our family. My daughter loves the samples. It's
It's,
an experience.
but it speaks to what Linda just said. The place is never, never not mobbed.
Yeah.
I can go
You
Wednesday at 12 in the afternoon when everybody should be at work, and there's lines out the door there. It's wild. So,
just be careful, Linda. My thing is don't, because I know Sam's pales in comparison to a Costco, but
Yeah.
like at Costco, don't bring a cart because you will somehow be like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know I needed this thing. That's
Oh,
on sale.
I did. I spent $75.
It's hard to get out of Costco. It's hard to get out of those stores under $100 because everything's like $10. You pick up, or 15. So you pick up a couple things and you're like, there's $100. But
well, it was $100 if you could, because my membership, I got the senior citizen discount
no, that's fine.
for $25. So it was $100. But the things that I bought, like I bought some organic chicken. These are things that I would have added to my grocery list that now I don't have to buy them at the grocery store when I go this week. So
yeah, forever.
yeah, I'm very
it's the
aware,
Target vortex. I call it the Target vortex. You walk into Target thinking you're going to spend 10 and you walk out of there spending 200. It's the Target vortex.
God. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but I mostly bought it just for the people, to watch the people and to be
Mm-hmm.
In fellowship with my fellow Sam's Club members.
Well, and I would say decide when you want to go because there's different times. If you want to see littles, go in the morning.
Yeah.
Or go in the early afternoon, like go, because then they're going to have their littles with them who are like littles who aren't in school yet. The stay-at-home moms are doing their shopping with their littles.
Yeah.
And, so it's a different vibe at different times. But
yeah.
I was just going to share this and then I have to hop because I have a couple things today. So I'm going to have to leave a little early. But I think for me, like the first and last lines are always so good. So I was going to read a few that I underlined. I think the end of 5, and I might have already read this, but I'm going to read it again because it's so good. And today, the word that I keep getting and for different readings and things, cards I've pulled is release. And release is like, it's a different level. I wish I had the description in the deck that I pulled release today. And they were talking about, and Jennifer's really big right now on the whole, we're the ending a 9-year and this idea of like, what do we want to be done with and not carry with us into a new 9-year cycle.
Yeah.
And I pulled release today, and in the description in the, booklet, it was talking about, I'll paraphrase, the essence is that release is like it's a different level of like, sometimes you can just let things, like sometimes things come and go out of your life. Like, and that just, it's not a thing. And then sometimes they're big moments and it's like this, they were talking about with release, it's sort of that. It's like, you need to like experience this grand finale of this thing releasing from your life. And as I was reading that, I was thinking about like grief. I was thinking about certain things, the grief of like, well, you can grieve a lot of things, like losing a loved one, also big things in your life that have been a part of your life for a long time that you're deeply invested in, but maybe seems like it's the end of that, or friendships ending, these kinds of things that they're not just like, oh, okay, I'm done with that. It's like this, it's almost like you have to, the way they were talking about it is like, it is this grand finale sort of like experience that you move through, that you have to move through to really release this thing in your life. And I wish I don't have it nearby, otherwise I would grab it. But I remember as I was reading it, I was thinking that is what I was doing when I was grieving my dad. And my friend is a therapist, and she at one point was like, Dana, you really might want to think about like, and not that there's anything wrong with this. Plenty of people are on medication to help them emotionally, and that then they need that, and there's definitely a place for that, and I'm not, so no shame with that or anything. But for me, I was just like, she was like, you may want to think about getting it to help you through, because I was really strong. I mean, I was functioning, I was fine, but I was deep in my sadness.
Yeah.
And I remember just thinking, no, this is like, I have to go through this. Like, I have to, this, like, this is what it is. I love my father deeply. I am just expressing, like, I am feeling this. I was still taking care of myself and my children and my home and doing all the things I needed to do. But in my downtime, yeah, I was crying and I was in like deep pain. But that is sort of like, sometimes you have to go through it. You can't, like, there's no other way but through. And again, some people need the supports, and that is okay. But I remember thinking, no, this is my process. This is what it looks like for me to go through this. And there were so many gifts in it and so much through. And that was part of my releasing of him. Like, because it wasn't my choice and it happened super fast. So it was like this, like a, where you take a double take, like, whoa, this thing just happened. And then it took me months, years to process what had just happened, and this release of him. So anyway, so thinking about that line, reality cannot break through the obstructions you interpose, but it will envelop you completely when you let them go. And I believe when it says when you let them, it's the obstructions. Reality, meaning God's reality, God's truth, that which is always there, God's peace, God's love, God's wholeness, will envelop you when you let those obstructions to those things go. And sometimes that's a process. Sometimes that letting go, that release is really like this movement, right? You're in the middle of it, Linda. You're letting go of this life that you had with your husband and his body for decades, for more than half, like for the majority of your life. That's
Yeah.
going to take time. That's a process, right?
Yeah.
But then in 6, it goes on to talk about when you have experienced the protection of God, the making of idols becomes inconceivable. And so that's where it's like to try to hold that truth that we know, if we've ever, and we probably all here have experienced that. But then in our human minds, it's like we forget it 2 seconds later, right? And we want to like, and then we're constantly having to fight that dual mind. But to remember, and that's that faith piece of like this thing that I'm going through, like this other thing now. There's always a new thing, right? That doesn't feel great. I have to trust that this is for my best, because in all of my life, it's always worked out the way it's supposed to work out, and I'm always okay, and God is always with me, right? And then in the front, the top of well, I'll say so. That's the first line of 6. The end of 6 is peace is yours because God created you and He created nothing else. What a beautiful promise. And then in 7, the first line, the miracle is the act of a son of God who has laid aside all false gods and who calls on his brothers to do likewise. So I love that it always describes stuff. That's the miracle, right? To lay aside those false gods, to remember the truth. Anyway, so I just sometimes like my mom always likes the last paragraph. I like the first and last lines of paragraphs because I think they are usually very powerful. So anyway, I have to run a little early today, but I'll leave it at that. But thank you for letting me share, and love to you all. Hope you have a great week.
Glad you were here. See you next week. Yeah. Good stuff. I love 8. I mean, Carol should be here because this was a good one and she would have definitely shared it. In many, only the spark remains, for the great rays are obscured. But God has kept the spark alive, so the rays can never be completely forgotten. If you but see the little spark, you will learn of the greater light, for the rays are there unseen. Perceiving the spark will heal, but knowing the light will create. Yet in the returning of the little light must be acknowledged first, for the separation was a descent from magnitude to littleness. But the spark is still as pure as the great light, because it is the remaining call of creation. Put all your faith in it, and God Himself will answer you.
Yeah, I was going to actually read the Oh, go ahead, Linda.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Kathleen. I'm done.
I was going to read the paragraph before that. The miracle is the act of a son of God who has laid aside all false gods and who calls on his brothers to do likewise. call on your brother to also lay aside all false gods. It's an act of faith because it's recognition that your brother can do it. He can lay them aside. It's a call to the Holy Spirit in his mind, your brother's mind, a call to God, which is strengthened by this joining. Because the miracle worker has heard him, he strengthens his voice in a sick brother by weakening his brother's belief in sickness, which he does not share. The power of one mind can shine into another because all the lamps of God were lit with the same spark. It's everywhere and it's eternal. And then it goes on to say, in many only the spark remains. But this is like the main paragraph in this chapter that talks about how we are helping other people. We're helping our brother and sisters to let go of their faith in false gods,
Mm-hmm.
usually sickness, illness, depression, um, poverty, or, just running into one problem after another. Like, I think my friend Jonathan's back in jail. I think I can't get hold of him, but just to keep creating chaos like that. But for me, I have to like not see that in him. I have to see the spark and to know for him that he's not really sick or that people aren't really ill or that they're not really creating chaos. It's just a silly dream. What was that line in 5? What you've made is so unworthy of you that you can hardly want it if you're willing to see it as it is. So funny.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus
Mm.
kind of cracks me up now and then. And does that include dodo videos? Because I'm going to hold on to dodo videos.
They're awesome, man. They're
I
awesome.
know. It's like the stuff that feels really good is also
Hmm.
part of the dream, but
Yeah.
the love behind it, in the mind of the person or watching and making the the reel.
Yeah.
Um, that's what we can see when we watch them. Yeah. And then
Hmm.
oh, Emily, the smile, that's another good she always does good news, but it's
Emily
most
the Smile.
Emily for the smile, or it's like Emily something the smile. She
I'm
always
writing
does
that
good
down.
Yeah.
news every day about the government, people
Oh,
suing
that's cool.
ICE. What's that?
I said, that's cool. Good. I'll check that out.
Yeah, there's another happy news one too, but I can't remember the name of it. But even the happy news is like people suing
Yeah.
ICE. And,
Yeah, yeah. It's why we're here, though. I mean, you said it, Kathleen. It's like you go to Costco just for the interaction. It's like that is literally the reason why we experience life here on this planet. It's not. So I teach agents like, guys, it's not the money. Don't be in this for the money. The money will come. It will follow you.
Mhm.
This is about the relationship. You build
Yes.
relationships.
Mhm.
Like, think of why 100,000 people will go sit in a 20-degree football stadium. Why are they there? They're there because they want to feel the energy of
Mhm.
everybody else
Go
watching the game.
Bills.
That's it. It's like that's why we're here. It's so crazy, but it's so simple. We don't maybe we innately don't know it, but that's why we go to those games
Yeah.
because you want to feel and just be around other people.
Yeah,
So
they're
it's
happy.
yeah,
And
that's
then
why
I
we're
also
here.
go to I also go to Costco because I feel safe there. And not just a feeling of, oh, I was scared over there, but now I'm safe. It's just that I really like being around people.
Hmm.
And I sit there and I do all 4 of the games, connections, strands, spelling bee,
Uh-huh.
Wordle, and eat, and then just interact with who's ever around me. Yeah.
Yeah. I was also thinking like having I wish I had a Costco, having a Sam's Club membership. Um, because I often don't feel safe walking on my own. But if I'm at Sam's Club walking the aisles, like what could
Yeah.
happen?
When you say on your own, what do you mean? Like outside?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
You're safe,
Yeah.
Linda.
I,
You're
I
safe.
know I'm safe, but I had an interaction with somebody and eventually I'll let this go. Um, that made me feel unsafe one
Yeah.
time when I was walking at Prescott State Park by myself. And this person brought up the fact that somebody had been raped there not too long ago. And I was like, okay, okay.
Mm. Yeah,
Fair warning.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah. So I can walk at Sam's Club and feel safe.
Yes, for sure. Or the
Go
mall.
ahead, Carla.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or the mall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're reading the last paragraph, it talks a lot about light. And I just sometimes things come to me, so I just felt to read a poem I wrote. It's called
Okay.
Light.
We can close out with that then. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot tell by looking at me that I had a broken heart. The pain was so great that my heart broke from the weight of it. And through that crack shone a light. Because my heart broke and I glimpsed that tiny light, my curiosity sparked. It grew. What was that light? So I peered into the crack at that light, at that tiny light, and was dazzled by the beauty, by the brilliance of what I saw. So I offered up that dark, pain-filled, broken heart to God, to myself, until and loved it just as it was, until I was totally encapsulated by the light, until I realized I was the light.
Mm.
That was beautiful, Carla. I
Yeah,
kept
thank
seeing
you.
like pages of a children's book every time you said something else. That would be a great kids' book. Wow. Illustrations by Chat GPT
Maybe there's a collaboration coming.
or ideogram.
Yeah, really cool.
That's beautiful. I love that poem.
And how perfect when he's talking about the great rays in
A
this.
great raise.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for joining
you.
us. Next week, we will finish this chapter 10, The Religion of the Ego. Section 5, The Denial of God. Like I said, this is a short chapter. But yeah, it'll be fun. Thank you, everybody. Good to see you all.
Thank you. Good to see you. Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.